Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Isaiah, also known as Zay Knives. Today I'm going to be forging a paring knife, which you don't know what a paring knife is. It's just a smaller kitchen knife. Last week we forged a Damascus steel chef's knife. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But if you're new, make sure you subscribe because I post a video of me making a new knife or a different sort of blade or axe or blacksmithing project every week. So make sure you hit the bell to get notifications when I upload a video. So let's get this started. Alright, so we got the forge getting hot. I wanted to mention I'm using 1¼ by 3/16 1080 high carbon steel. Now, when making kitchen knives out of high carbon steel, they're not stainless, which means they can rust, but the high carbon steel holds an edge substantially longer than stainless steel, so it can also hold a much finer edge. So it's a much higher quality blade than any stainless steel knife. Carbon steels also develop a patina when cutting into food. And what a patina is, it's the acids in the food reacting to the iron and the steel, and it leaves like a very thin top layer of like colors like blue and reddish brown, sometimes black. And this protects the knife from rust as well as looks very cool. Everything you cut into will leave its mark on a high carbon steel knife. Let's get this metal hot. Alright, let's get this out of the fire. I'm going to knock the corners back so we can draw out the tip. So I'm going to take it over the horn and draw out the point. Okay, so I do this in all my videos, and every knife that I forge, so the bar looks like this at the beginning, bar. So what I'm doing is, I'm taking that bar, and I'm basically turning it to this. Because if I were to draw up the point on this bar, the bar would end up looking like this. And so when I turn that into a point, there's a little cold shut there, where that's not one, that's two pieces of steel. Whereas this right here, this will draw out to a point without making a cold shut right here. That I want. So from here, I'm going to mark the transition that I want to start between the blade and the tang. You can see I started a little mark right there. So I'm going to go back in the fire, make that transition a little bit more, and then we'll continue working on the blade. Okay, so I'm going to do a half-face blow to start that transition. Making this steel go down, and this steel up. Alright, so we have that transition started, so I'm going to finish the blade before we move on to drawing out the rest of the tang. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the blade and curve it like a crescent moon downward. Like this is the edge, this is the spine. So I'm going to curve it downward. This way when I forge in the edge, it's going to straighten back out. Because if I just forge the edge up, the blade would be crooked upwards. See what I did there? Curved it down, so that way when I hammer in the edge, it'll straighten back out. I'm going to put the edge on the very end of the anvil here, lay it down flat, and then tilt it upwards, and then start slowly hammering in the edge. Flip it over. But now I'm going to heat it up, and then we're going to cut off the steel and then draw up the tang. And I'm going to take it over and just guess about how much steel I need. Woo! That was, oops. Can delve my tool a little bit there. Alright, I'm going to bring it over to the edge of the anvil. Okay, now I'm going to start a separate transition. Woo! That's not what I have to do. Sweet, so the tang has been drawn out. Now I need to flip it around, just straighten out the blade, and then we'll have to do our normalization cycles on it. Looks good and straight, sweet. Alright, so this next step that I'm going to do is called normalizing the steel. So I'm going to I lowered the temperature of the forge, so now I'm going to put the knife in there, very slowly get it up to a dull red temperature, and let it cool off in the air. What this is going to do is this is going to reduce the stress inside the steel from that forging. It'll also allow it to harden when we go to harden the blade later without cracking or warping. Alright, so I'm going to normalize it again, but this time the blade instead of the tang. Heating it up very slowly to the temperature I want. I wanted to take a minute just to talk about why I started making YouTube videos and why I make knives. I wanted to make a YouTube channel where I make knives that's entertaining for someone who isn't a knife maker. But also I wanted the knife maker to be able to watch my videos and pick something up from watching me work. When it comes to knife makers, there's very, very few who are forging their blades from start to finish. There's a lot of stock removal, and I have a lot of fun forging all my knives. It's not super easy to do. It took a long time to really figure out how to forge these blades. So I'm hoping that if you're interested in blacksmithing, if you're interested in knife making, you'll be able to watch my videos and learn something from it. And if you ever have any questions, you can always comment below, and I reply to all the comments. And really, my goal is to make the most entertaining videos I can and pack in as much knowledge that I know about knife making and blacksmithing that I can, and hope that it'll help you guys out there who want to do this yourself, or if you just like watching it just for entertainment, that's awesome too. So the knife is all forged out. This is the profile after forging. No grinding has been done yet. You can see where the edge is and where the spine is. You can see I forged it pretty thin already. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take soapstone and draw on the design that I want to do on the blade. So the reason I leave the tip so wide while I'm forging is so I have more creative freedom while drawing my design on with the soapstone. So at this point I got the blade profiled out. Let's heat up the forge and get this thing hardened. Alright, what I got here is parts 50 heat treating oil. DIY. Open the tank to get ready. Oh shit. Moving it back and forth in the flame. I have a magnet on the side. Once we're up to the right temperature, the blade is no longer magnetic. So that's how we know we're just about to that critical temperature that we can harden the steel. Here we go. So what tempering the blades is going to do is it's going to reduce that really hard glass brittleness that the steel has right now from being hardened, and it's going to make it so it still has that hardened edge, but it's more resilient and can absorb shock so it doesn't just break in half if it gets dropped or something. Alright, so the blade has been forged, profiled, heat treated, and now we're getting ready to grind in the edge bevel. So I got the knife rough ground on the 50 grit belt. Now I'm going to go up to 120 and then to 400, and then we're going to go into hand sanding after that. Alright, time to move on to hand sanding. So at this point I have the blade polished to 500 grit on both sides. So now I'm going to take the Scotch-Brite belt on my grinder and polish it further. After I do that, I'm going to buff it on the buffing wheel, and this will make the blade shiny and nice. What I have here is buffing compound. This is really high grit that I put on this cloth wheel, and that'll polish the blade. Alright, so I put a little oil on the blade, and I'm just going to wipe off all that buffing compound, masking tape, and cover both sides. my basket of scrap wood. You can use this piece for a sort of a secondary stripe in the handle. Take this piece of black palm, 4 1/4 inches. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just true up the ends that are going to be connected later on when we attach the knife. So I'm just flattening it out on the grinder. Three-quarters of an inch is the middle. I'm going to mark with the center punch exactly where I want the hole to be. I'm going to take our brass and start filing. That fits good. Now let's burn the handle material onto the tang. It's good. It looks like it's on there good and straight. So now we're going to glue it up and then drill our pinhole. Now I'm going to let that glue dry, and then we'll start shaping the handle. Okay, so at this point I have the handle rough ground in. So now I'm going to go up to 120 grit on the belt sander, and we'll move on to hand sanding. Okay, so at this point we got the handle polished to 600 grit. Now I'm going to use a boiled linseed oil finish. So what this is going to do is this is going to soak into the wood, and when it dries it crystallizes and keeps the wood sealed and protected. So we'll wait for the handle to dry, then we'll take the tape off, sharpen the knife, do some cutting tests, and then we're all done. Okay, let's start with a simple paper cutting test. Oh wow. There's no resistance at all. Razor sharp, razor sharp. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This has been forging a paring knife. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell for notifications when I upload. I upload a video once a week of different knife making and blacksmithing projects. Make sure you follow me on social media, my Instagram page @ZayKnives, my Facebook page ZayKnives. And if you're interested in more information on me or purchasing some stuff that I've made, you can go to my website, zayknives.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.